Hey everyone, welcome to AI Online course. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create chatbots with OpenAI models. Learn how to build a smart chatbot using OpenAI's GPT 3.5 and GPT-4 that replies like a real person. We'll guide you through setup, coding, and running it easily, perfect for beginners with basic computer skills. Now, I will present a detailed, step-by-step overview of the entire development process. Step 1. Prepare environment. Set up necessary libraries and API credentials to create a foundation for the chatbot. Step 2. Prepare bot. Write code for the chatbot to greet and take inputs from users. Step 3. Generate response. Process user inputs and generate responses using an AI model. Step 4. Conversation loops. Engage in continuous conversations until the user ends them. Step 5. Test chatbot. Evaluate and refine the chatbot's responses. Step 6. Deploy chatbot. Make the chatbot available for real-world use. Before starting with the code, head over to Google and search for Chatbots with Generative AI Models AIOnlineCourse.com. On the AI Online course, you'll find a complete guide with detailed explanations and well-structured content, along with full source code to help you dive deep into the project. Now I will run the full code step by step in Google Colab. Each step is clearly explained and executed in order, so you can easily follow along and understand how the system works from start to finish. First, install necessary libraries. We install OpenAI library, which enables us to work with the GPT models. After installation, this library can be used for the purpose of sending requests to OpenAI API and receiving responses generated by models. Now, import the necessary libraries first. We use Import OS to bring in a built-in tool that helps our program interact with the computer's operating system. This is helpful when we want to safely use things like secret keys without typing them directly in our code. Then we use Import OpenAI to bring in the OpenAI library. This library lets us connect with smart models like GPT 3.5 and GPT-4 so we can build a chatbot that understands and responds to our messages. And from OpenAI Import OpenAI is used to directly import the OpenAI class or object from the OpenAI library. However, in most basic chatbot projects, this line is not needed because using Import OpenAI is enough to access the functions we need. After that, set up the OpenAI API Key. We get the API key from our environment variables. Then we set it for the OpenAI library so it can authenticate with OpenAI's servers. Then we create a new client by passing the API key directly to the OpenAI class. You should enter your OpenAI API key with your actual key or another secure method like using os.environ.get. Now, creating a chatbot response function using GPT 3.5. We start by defining a function called Generate API Validation Tests. It takes 3 inputs: the message we want to send, the maximum number of tokens or words we want in the reply, and a temperature value that controls how creative the response will be. Then we use the OpenAI client to call the chat completion API. We choose the GPT 3.5 turbo model for generating the chatbot's reply. Next, we pass 2 messages to the model. First, a system message that tells the chatbot it should act like a helpful assistant. And second, the user's message. This is what we want the chatbot to respond to. We also set the max tokens to limit the length of the response and the temperature to adjust how random or focused we want the reply to be. Finally, the function returns the chatbot's message, which we can display or use in our application. After that, building the chat loop for our AI chatbot. We start with a while true loop. This means the chatbot will keep running and talking to us until we tell it to stop. Inside the loop, we first ask the user to type a message using the input function. This message is stored in a variable called userQuestion. Then we send this question to our chatbot using the function we created earlier, Generate API validation tests. We also set the maximum length of the reply and control how creative the answer should be by setting the temperature. After that, the chatbot's reply is printed on the screen with print, so we can read what it said. Next, we ask the user if they want to keep chatting. If the user types yes, the loop continues and the chatbot will keep listening. But if the user types anything else, the loop stops and the chatbot ends the conversation. This loop helps us have a full chat experience, like talking to a real assistant. Now run the code and try asking your chatbot a few questions to see how it responds. In this part, I use GPT-4, a more advanced OpenAI model, to create smarter and more accurate chatbot responses. GPT-4 understands questions better than GPT 3.5, making the chatbot more responsive and natural for users. We define a function called Generate API validation tests that takes a user message and lets us set how long the chatbot's answer can be, as well as how creative or random the reply should sound. Inside the function, we call the OpenAI API using the GPT-4 model. First, we send a system message instructing the chatbot to act as a helpful assistant. Next, we pass the user's message, which tells the chatbot what question or prompt to respond to. We control two settings here. Max tokens limits the length of the response. Temperature controls creativity. A lower value makes replies more focused, while a higher value adds variety. Finally, the function sends the request and returns the chatbot's reply from the API response. After that, building the chat loop for our AI chatbot, we start with a while true loop. This means the chatbot will keep running and talking to us until we tell it to stop. Inside the loop, we first ask the user to type a message using the input function. This message is stored in a variable called userQuestion. Then we send this question to our chatbot using the function we created earlier, Generate API validation tests. We also set the maximum length of the reply and control how creative the answer should be by setting the temperature. After that, the chatbot's reply is printed on the screen with print, so we can read what it said. Next, we ask the user if they want to keep chatting. If the user types yes, the loop continues and the chatbot will keep listening. But if the user types anything else, the loop stops and the chatbot ends the conversation. This loop helps us have a full chat experience, like talking to a real assistant. Now run the code and try asking your chatbot a few questions to see how it responds. We successfully built a chatbot with generative AI models. After that, we learned how to set up the OpenAI API and use both GPT 3.5 Turbo and GPT-4 models to generate smart, natural responses. Then, we created a simple program to chat with the bot in real time. This project shows how AI can understand and reply to messages just like a human, making it useful for many applications like customer support or learning. Finally, you can expand this chatbot by adding more features or improving its responses. For the full code and to learn projects, visit AIonlinecourse.com. That's all for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you liked this project, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more tech tutorials.